I'm delighted to be able to introduce our speaker today. Dr. Sonia Scarselli is the Vice President of BHP's newly formed BHP Xplor program, which, as you'll hear, aims to find and accelerate innovative early-stage mineral exploration startups and to find the critical resources which are necessary to drive the energy transition. So a bit about Sonia. She joined BHP in 2012. And since then has had leadership roles in commercial and operational arms, which includes things like the head of Algeria, BHP, exploration and appraisal chief of staff, and the manager of exploration in Trinidad and Tobago, which must have been pretty exciting. Before joining BHP, she worked for ExxonMobil UK in a number of exploration and geology roles. Sonia has a master's degree in geology from the University of Perugia, a PhD from ETH Zurich, and an MBA from the London Business School. She serves as an advisor on multiple societies and as a counsellor on the AAPG, so she's a very, very busy person. So we're really lucky to grab her time today. And Sonia, I really loved your vision that you posted up on your LinkedIn page, which I've paraphrased. You say, having grown up with a passion for climbing, you have a blend of vision, strategy, planning, and hands-on experience that allows you to live your purpose, which is to provide a platform for entrepreneurial minds to accelerate to the top. And getting to the peak of the climb is the vision of what it could be. And it's the strategic work, which I think is the really important bit. It's the strategic work that requires planning and brevity and getting the right help that gets you there. I think that's a fantastic sentiment. Yeah. So without further ado, and I'll just ask everyone to go on mute, please, if they're not already. I'll hand it over to you. Thank you, Sonia. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Joe, for the very lovely introduction. Thank you so much. And thanks, Sabine, for inviting me to join the group tonight and get the opportunity to share with this great audience a little bit more about the BHP Xplor program. So what I want to do in the next 20 minutes together before opening to Q&A is really to give an overview on what is the BHP Xplor program. And before starting to that, what's the context we are living? Why BHP has decided to launch this program, and what is the driver, the main driver, and the vision behind it? And then we'll talk a little bit more around what is within the program itself, what are we going to do, and what are we going to accelerate, and lastly, what are the candidates that we are looking forward to bring in our program. If you can please go to skip the next slide and go to the other slide. Yes, this one. Thank you so much, Sabine. Before I jump into the context, I just like to give a little bit of an overview of who BHP is. And probably I'm talking to an Australian audience that heard about BHP tons and tons in the media, and you're familiar with the company. But in general, we are the largest mining company in the world. We have a very large task force of over 80,000 people. And we do business everywhere in the world. So we are in Australia, of course, in Southeast Asia, North America, where I am based, and South America and Europe as well. And we have multiple operations from the very front end of the life cycle of the resources, which is the identification and exploration, down to the end of the life of the resources, which is our close site, and everything that is in between, the development, the production, and the operation side. And the commodity that we are looking on our portfolio are mainly commodities such as copper, nickel, potash, iron ore, and met coal. So we have a very large and diverse portfolio. And with that, we are constantly looking for a new type of commodity and resources to bring into our portfolio. But where we are today we are in a very big pivotal moment for the mining industry, but mainly for the society, for the energy, for what the energy is looking like today and what the energy will look like in the future. So we're really on a switching point. We are a major change point where we are transitioning from a heavily based fossil fuel energy to an energy that has a lower carbon footprint and is also made by different type of energy solutions, whether it is solar, wind, geothermal, nuclear, partly also oil and gas as well. But it's a much more variety type of energy that we want to bring to the market. So that is one aspect of this big transition that is happening, and is happening very quickly. The demand is out there and is fast. The other part of the equation with the demand is the supply. And that's where we come and play. The supply is the supply of all the elements that are required to really fuel and underpin this energy transition. The amount of copper that goes on the wires on solar and wind and electric vehicle and so on. The amount of nickel, lithium that is going to be required on the batteries that are needed to storage the energy, as well as other commodities like iron ore that will be required to produce more and more material as the global number of population is growing. So we are seeing something that actually we've never seen in the past. We are seeing an exponential requirement and need of those resources that they are needed for the energy transition. And when we think about energy transition, we are hearing a lot of hefty goals looking at 2050. And 2050 seems so far out, but actually to deliver in 2050, we need to make changes today. We need to provide the resources that are needed to get to 2050 now. We need to find them now in a way that can be in production in 2030, so that we can reach our aspirational goal in 2050. 2050 is a very, very high mountain to climb. And what we're doing today has a significant importance to get there. So how are we going to get there? We're not going to get there based on how we have been doing things in the past. So we think that operating in the same way we've been operating on the past is going to get there. That's not going to happen, as simple as that. And I quote some number. To provide the amount of copper that is required to bring all electric vehicle in Europe by 2030, we'll need to increase the amount of production 7 times on what is occurring today. And in order to be able to do that, the copper that has been already discovered is not sufficient. So we'll need to find a new copper mine per day, a new commercial copper mine per day. If you think that this number is not daunting, I'm going to give you a quote and a statistic on when we found the last, and when I say we, it's not BHP, it's the industry, it's the mining industry. The last big copper mine from a commercial point of view that has been found 20 years ago. So now we are asking to become so much better that instead of finding a copper mine every 20 years, we find one a day. And that is daunting. That is an hefty goal. That is something that we really have to change the way we are working in a way that we can actually deliver that. Otherwise, if we keep doing the same things the same way, we are not going to deliver. So this is the context we are living. We are living a very big society goal. There is the energy transition, the low carbon footprint. All of these are the right thing to do. We want to do it. And in order to do that, we need to deliver the resources that will support that transition. So when we think about this macro context, then BHP has been looking at how can we accelerate that growth? How can we, in a sustainable way, can accelerate the exploration front end of the life cycle of the resources? Because as I mentioned, to get to 2050, we need to find the resources today to start the production in 2030. It takes at least 10 years from idea generation to first production when we're really, really fast. So in most cases, it takes even longer. So with that aspiration in mind, the company has been looking at a different option. We certainly are going to continue our internal exploration program in the areas that we know better. We certainly are going to continue to accelerate the development of the resources we have already discovered. But we also want to open up the search space and the exploration to a much larger and collective pool of idea generator, creative people that they might not have been working on the mineral industry before. It doesn't matter. They might have breakthrough ideas and concepts. They just don't have a platform where to bring these ideas and transform the idea into actually an activity, a plan, an activity that get executed and provide the results. And so that's where the BHP Xplor program come in place. So our job is really taking these great ideas that they are out there and they don't have a voice, they don't have a platform, they don't have funds, they don't have money, and they don't know how to run operation. Take them in the program and accelerate them from the idea generation to the be ready to execute. To be ready to execute their program, going to the field, testing the rocks and finding new resources. So that is the intent of the program. And then, of course, there are multiple aspects on how we are going to do that. But in a nutshell, it's really to take what it normally takes 5 to 7 years to the industry and accelerate it within a couple of years. And that's really going to help us to really look at moving these resources faster into the energy demand. Now, how we're going to do that? So the way we are doing that is through this platform that actually, while it's a new concept in the mineral industry, an accelerator is not a new concept in technology and in innovation. There are a lot of accelerators that exist in the technology in tech startup world that they've been creating opportunities and raising funds and accelerating startups in the technology side, in the software and in the hardware side. So we are taking an existing concept that has been working very well and apply to a very different type of industry. Our industry is different because it requires very special skills. It requires a very special operation. It requires a very special above ground and regulatory approval and so on activities and capabilities that we will provide. So how the program look like? The program is designed to select a group of startups that looks more promising through a selection process that lasts 2 months. And actually, we just launched the selection process a week ago. And we are now receiving the first batch of application, and that process will be open for 2 months. So once we collected all those applications, we will select the top tier 1 applications, and this is the first year we are running the program. So we wanted to bring in not just the best application, but we also wanted to make sure that we're going to provide the best services to the startups. So we put ourselves a limit to how many applications, and we said we're not going to go over 10, but that doesn't mean that this will remain the same number going forward in the subsequent years. So once the selected candidates come into the program is composed in 3 main buckets. It's a 6-month program, and the 3 buckets are 3 different curriculum and services we are providing. There is the technical, where we provide mentors, advisors, anything from a technical point of view that these startups are needing to go from the idea generation to an exploration program. Then we provide business services and business curriculum that goes from training, entrepreneurship training, business training, how you raise capital, how you talk to investors, how you pitch your idea, how you run a business, what are the fundamental things you need to know from a legal and a business point of view. And we do that in partnership with the external advisor, including the advisor from Berkeley University. And then the third part is the operation curriculum and the support. That's where we are tapping into our global network of supplier, operation vendors, legal, to really help to actually put, not just put together the plan for the program, for the exploration activities, but also allow with all the support they needs just really to be in the field and drill and do geophysical acquisition and so on. And during this 6 months period, we're going to offer a stipend to those companies that are in the program. So we're going to pay them to be in the program, so they'll have the money that they are required to actually getting ready for their operation. The end of the program is completed with what we call the pitch day. That is another venue for each startup to be able to raise further capital from BHP, and that's the amount of that capital. It really changes depending on what the company needs to go and test their exploration activities. And so that in a couple of months from the pitch day, they actually have the budget to be able to go on the field and test their opportunities. So all of this would take years to happen. It would take for each startup long time to find funds, to go through private equity, to family offices, to go to small investors. So they don't have to do any of that. We're going to do all of that for them, and we're going to provide them the services and the support they need. So their entire focus is not removing roadblocks. We're doing that for them. Their entire focus is to go from the idea they have in mind to go and test it. And once that is done, there are multiple opportunities for those companies. They can go their own way. They can decide to have a further collaboration with BHP. We would love to build a partnership. We would love to build a relationship. We would love that experience with us. It's been a great experience, and these companies become a knock on our door in the future when they have other opportunities. As well as next year, when we're looking for the second cohort, we get even more applications coming into the system. So this is the program on a nutshell. And the last part I want to cover is the candidates. Who are the ideal candidates that come to the program? If I think about the candidates, I can put them in 3 main buckets. So there is one bucket is really the person that has never worked on the mineral industry, is maybe coming out from university, fresh from a PhD or from a master, and they have a great idea. They never run a company. They don't even know if they want to run a company. They don't know even where to start, but they have an exploration concept, a mineral system concept, and they think that there is some merit, and they would like to get a chance, to get given a chance. So we will want to hear these people. We were not worried that they never run a company. That's not a problem. We'll help them to build that. So this is a group of candidates. The extreme opposite of the candidate type, the other bucket, is entrepreneurs. They are not first timer in the mineral industry, in the exploration side. They might have been actually involved in previous exploration activities. They might actually have been part of juniors or run juniors. And we would like them to be on the pre-IPO early stage, where they've got an idea, they got an exploration concept, they have a plan, they have maybe land, they have tenement already, but they need both the funds and they need that acceleration. They're definitely ideal candidate for us, and we can accommodate them. We can have our program that is flexible to their needs. If they don't need all the service we provide, we are not forcing them to take all the services. And then the last bucket is really on the middle. Someone is a little bit more advanced than just a couple of students with an idea. It's a bit more advanced. They have already thought more about where they want to go and do their exploration trial, what that will look like and what they want to test. But they are a little bit far behind on building an organization around that concept. So this is really the type of candidates we are looking at. And as I say, this is the first time that this type of programs are run in the mineral industry. And so it's important for us to go and reach out to as many people as possible, because we don't even know, we don't really know from where the customer to the program are coming. And for me, it's just really important to be able to reach out to a network that is much broader than the network that the mineral industry has. If you go back to one of my regional comments was, if we are thinking that doing the same thing we have done in the past is going to give us this answer for the future, that is the right way, I think we are wrong. So it's very important to open up to a much larger pool of creativity, different way of thinking, a different way of working. So the last things I want to cover, one of the things I get asked often, if pure technology startup can apply to the program, I would say we are not really suited to test just pure technology. But if there is a technology concept that is associated with an exploration concept, and they wanted to pair it together and test it, that's something that we will consider. If there are pure technology concept, we do have other pillar at BHP that can actually be interested to pure technologies that they can be applied to the mineral industry, and that is either through our venture fund or through our innovation team. So with that, I really wanted to thank you for having given me the time to give you a little bit of an intro of the BHP Xplor program. And I'd like to take the rest of the time to respond to any question that you have, and please feel free to ask me everything.